There comes a moment in every woman's life when she meets someone who doesn't just make her heart race. He makes her soul feel seen. Someone whose presence feels different, not loud, not dramatic, not confusing, but quietly meaningful. You don't know why, and you don't know how, but something inside you whispers that this connection is deeper than anything you've experienced before. His eyes soften when you speak. His energy shifts when you enter the room. And there is a calmness in the way he looks at you, as if he recognizes something in you that the rest of the world missed. Most people fall for beauty, charm, or the things they can easily see. But every once in a while, you meet a man who falls for something much deeper. A man who sees the layers beneath your smile. A man who connects with your mind, your energy, your softness, your strength, your pain, and your truth. A man who is drawn not to how you look, but to who you are. This kind of connection is rare. It doesn't happen often. And when it does, it doesn't feel like infatuation. It feels like recognition. Because real love, deep love, soul love, doesn't shout. It arrives quietly. It shows up in the way he listens to your stories with full presence. In the way he notices your emotions before you speak. In the way he treats you with gentle respect. In the way he opens up emotionally without fear. And most of all, in the way he chooses you. Not for the moment, not for the excitement, but for the connection. This video is not about the typical signs of attraction, not about playful flirting, not about mixed signals, and not about shallow interest. This is about the deepest signs, the signs that reveal he is falling for the parts of you that most people never take the time to understand. The signs that show he's drawn to your soul, not just your beauty. The signs that reveal his heart is opening in ways he didn't expect. Maybe you felt something change in him. Maybe his actions have become softer, more intentional, more meaningful. Maybe you've noticed how he pays attention to the things no one else sees. Or maybe you're just wondering whether the connection you feel is real, mutual, and deeper than surface-level attraction. Whatever brought you here, one thing is certain: your intuition noticed something. And you're right to look closer. Because a man who is falling for your soul leaves a trail of subtle, powerful signs. Signs you may not recognize at first, but signs that reveal a connection that goes far beyond physical desire. In this video, we're going to explore the 15 real, unmistakable signs that a man is falling for your soul. Not your appearance, not the image you project, but your true, authentic self. These signs are gentle. They are quiet, but they are unforgettable. Let's begin. 1. He feels peace just being near you. When a man is falling for your soul, not just your surface, one of the strongest signs is the calmness he feels when he's around you. It's not excitement, not nerves, not the usual rush that comes from physical attraction. It's something deeper, quieter, and far more meaningful. Your presence becomes a kind of emotional sanctuary for him. He may not be able to describe it perfectly, but whenever he's with you, he feels grounded, centered, and safe in a way he doesn't feel with anyone else. This peace shows up in small moments. He relaxes around you without trying. His shoulders drop, his breathing slows, and you'll notice he doesn't feel the need to impress you or perform. He doesn't hide behind jokes, ego, or toughness. Instead, he feels completely himself in your presence. That inner stillness he feels comes from the sense that he's finally with someone who understands him, someone who makes the world feel a little less heavy. He doesn't see you as noise or chaos. You're not stress. You're not pressure. You're not another person demanding something from him. You become the opposite, someone who lightens what he carries, someone who brings relief, someone whose energy makes his mind quiet down after a long day. He may even tell you, without thinking, "I feel better when I'm with you," or "You calm me." And the truth is, men don't feel this kind of peace with someone they are only physically attracted to. Physical beauty may draw him in, but emotional safety is what keeps him coming back. Peace is rare for men, and when he finds it in your soul, he knows it's something real, something that doesn't fade. That's when you know he's falling for the deepest parts of you. 2. He listens to you with his whole heart. Listening is easy, but listening with his whole heart, That's something only a man who feels a soul-deep pull toward you will do. When a man falls for who you truly are, he pays attention in a way that goes beyond courtesy or politeness. He doesn't just hear your words, he absorbs them. He remembers the small details, the emotions behind your sentences, and the meaning you tried to hide between the lines. When you talk, he isn't waiting for his turn to speak. He isn't glancing at his phone or letting his mind wander. He's fully present. His eyes stay on you. His face softens. His expression shifts with your emotions. He asks questions, not because he feels obligated, but because he genuinely wants to understand you better. Your thoughts matter to him because you matter to him, far beyond anything physical. If you mention something you like, he remembers. If you share something painful, he holds it with care. If you talk about your dreams, he takes them seriously. And when you open up emotionally, he listens with the kind of patience and gratitude that says, "I'm honored you trust me." A man who listens with his whole heart is a man who sees your soul. He's not attracted only to the shape of your body. He's drawn to the shape of your mind, your spirit, your inner world. Your voice, your thoughts, and your truth become important to him because he's invested emotionally, not just romantically. And the strongest proof, he remembers things you forgot you even said. He brings up tiny details months later. He listens in a way that makes you feel heard for the first time in a long time. This isn't surface-level interest. This is soul-level connection. 3. He loves the way your mind works. When a man is falling for your soul, one of the most powerful signs is how deeply he becomes fascinated by your mind. Not your looks, not your style, not the external things the world focuses on, but the way you think, feel, process, and interpret the world around you. He's drawn to your perspective. He admires your insights. He gets lost in conversations with you because your thoughts feel refreshing, comforting, or inspiring in a way he hasn't experienced with anyone else. He loves the way you solve problems. He loves the way you express yourself. He even loves the way you argue, because it shows intelligence, passion, and depth. Your sense of humor, your curiosity, your creativity, your wisdom, all of it becomes incredibly attractive to him. You become the person he wants to talk to first when something happens, not because he needs a response, but because he values the way your mind will interpret it. When he truly appreciates your mind, you'll notice he opens discussions that go deeper than daily routines. He wants to know your opinions about life, love, the future, your dreams, your fears, and the things that shaped you. He asks questions that feel meaningful. He listens to your explanations with admiration. Sometimes he just sits quietly, watching you talk, smiling to himself because he's genuinely in awe of you. This kind of attraction doesn't fade with time. Looks change, beauty shifts, but when a man falls for your mind, he falls for the part of you that grows richer every year. Your intelligence becomes his comfort. Your thoughts become his inspiration. Your mind becomes the place he feels most connected. And that's when you know his feelings run deep, because he's falling not for what the world sees, but for the soul behind your eyes. 4. He sees depth in you others miss. When a man falls for your soul, he sees layers in you that the world has overlooked. Most people notice the obvious, your face, your smile, your presence. But he notices the things beneath the surface. He recognizes your quiet strength, your resilience, the softness you hide, the kindness you give without expecting anything back. He sees the depth in your emotions, your thoughts, and the way you experience life in a meaningful, thoughtful way. He becomes aware of the subtleties in your personality that others fail to appreciate. Maybe it's the way you hesitate before speaking because you choose your words carefully. Maybe it's how deeply you feel things, even when you don't show it. Maybe it's the way you love, protect, or care for people silently. Whatever it is, he notices it. He sees you. He also understands that you're not just one thing. You're a combination of softness and fire, patience and passion, strength and vulnerability. And instead of being intimidated by your depth, he's drawn to it. He finds comfort in the layers of your personality because they make you real, authentic, and emotionally rich. He sees the little things that matter, how you handle pain, how you celebrate joy, how you treat others, and how your heart reacts to the world. Over time, he begins to appreciate that your depth is not just a trait, it's a gift. Something rare, something powerful, something he wants to understand more every day. When he looks at you, he doesn't see just a person, he sees a story, a soul, a universe of meaning. And the more he sees, the deeper he falls. This is the kind of connection that goes beyond physical attraction. It's a recognition of spirit, something only a man who is truly falling for your soul will ever notice. 5. He values your thoughts more than your looks. A man who is falling for your soul listens to your thoughts with the same admiration others reserve for beauty. To him, your ideas, opinions, and perspectives hold more weight than anything external. He isn't impressed by your looks alone. He's captivated by the way your mind works, how you see the world, and the intelligence behind your words. You'll notice that when you talk, he listens with genuine interest. He asks what you think about things that matter to him, big or small. He wants your input on his decisions, his future, his problems, and his dreams. And this isn't because he needs validation. It's because he respects your mind. He trusts your judgment. He values your wisdom. He finds beauty in the way you express yourself, even when you're unsure. He loves the way you think things through. He admires how your mind connects emotions, logic, intuition, and empathy in ways he's never seen before. Your intelligence becomes a kind of magnet for him, drawing him closer every time you speak. When he values your thoughts more than your looks, he shows it in his behavior. He remembers the opinions you share. He thinks about what you said even days later. He brings up your ideas in conversations with others. He makes you feel heard, and more importantly, understood. And the deeper truth is this. Looks may attract someone initially, but it's your mind that keeps them. Your thoughts become the reason he stays, the reason he grows, and the reason he begins to imagine a future with you. Because when a man values your inner world more than your outer appearance, he's falling for something real, something that doesn't fade, something soulful. 6. He opens up emotionally without fear. Men don't open up easily. Most have been taught to hide their emotions, stay guarded, and appear strong even when they are hurting. But when a man is falling for your soul, something shifts inside him. With you, he feels safe enough to be vulnerable. He talks about things he never talks about. He shares memories he keeps hidden. He trusts you with the pieces of himself he doesn't show the world. He opens up not because he's weak, but because you make him feel understood. You create a space where he doesn't have to pretend. He doesn't fear judgment or rejection. He feels seen, valued, and accepted for who he truly is. And that emotional safety becomes a powerful bond between you. He starts telling you about his insecurities, his fears, his dreams, and the emotional burdens he carries. He lets you into his past, his childhood wounds, heartbreaks, failures, and struggles. He tells you things he hasn't told anyone in years. And when he shares, you'll notice he watches your reaction carefully, not because he doubts you, but because your opinion genuinely matters to him. The more he opens up, the more he realizes you're not just someone he likes, you're someone he trusts. Someone who brings comfort to his soul. Someone who makes him feel lighter simply by listening. And that's a feeling men rarely experience. Emotional openness is a sign of deep connection. It shows he sees something in you that feels safe, warm, and real. He doesn't feel the need to act tough or perfect around you. He allows you to see the human behind the surface. This is not physical attraction. This is emotional intimacy. This is soul-level connection. And it's one of the clearest signs he's falling for the deepest part of you. 7. He treats you with gentle respect. When a man is falling for your soul, one of the clearest signs is the way his entire demeanor shifts into gentleness around you. Not because he's trying to impress you, and not because he's pretending, but because he genuinely values who you are. Respect becomes the language he speaks naturally. It shows up in the little things, in the way he talks to you, listens to you, and considers your feelings without being asked. He doesn't mock your emotions or dismiss your concerns. He doesn't talk over you or belittle your thoughts. Instead, he honors your boundaries, your pace, and your emotional world. This type of respect is not loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet, soft, and steady, like a man who understands the value of what he's holding and doesn't want to harm it. He respects your time by being present when he's with you. He respects your mind by taking your thoughts seriously. He respects your heart by being gentle with the parts you protect. He chooses kindness even when it's easier to be careless. He chooses softness even when life makes him hard. And he chooses patience, especially when you struggle to open up or trust fully. His respect is not based on what you offer him physically. It's rooted in who you are as a person, in what your soul carries, and in how deeply he feels connected to your essence. Most importantly, he treats you with dignity. You're never an option, never a convenience, never an afterthought. His respect shows that he sees your worth clearly, and he wants to rise to meet it. When a man respects you from his heart, his soul is already falling for yours. 8. He notices your feelings instantly. When a man falls for your soul, he becomes emotionally attuned to you in a way that feels almost intuitive. He notices the change in your tone, the slight shift in your eyes, the small hesitation in your voice, signs others overlook. You don't have to explain yourself or hide your emotions. He senses them before you even speak. This emotional awareness comes from care, not control. He's paying attention because you matter to him. You've become someone whose emotional world he wants to understand deeply. When something is off, he feels it. When you're hurting, he slows down. When you're excited, he lights up with you. He mirrors your emotions naturally, not because he's trying to manipulate or please you, but because your feelings genuinely move him. You'll notice how he asks, "Are you okay?" before anyone else realizes something's wrong. Or how he can tell when you need reassurance, space, silence, or comfort. He doesn't rush you or force you to talk. He simply stays present, giving you room to feel safe. Men don't tune in at this depth unless their heart is involved. Physical attraction doesn't sharpen emotional perception. Love does. Connection does. Soul recognition does. And the most beautiful part, he makes you feel seen. Not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply comforting way. In a way that reminds you that your emotions matter. His ability to notice your feelings instantly shows that is connected to your essence, not just your presence. When a man reads your mood without a word, it's because he's already fallen into the rhythm of your heart. 9. He supports your growth and healing. A man who is falling for your soul doesn't just love who you are. He supports who you are becoming. He doesn't fear your growth. He doesn't compete with your dreams. And he doesn't feel threatened when you elevate. Instead, he celebrates your progress, encourages your evolution, and stands by you as you heal parts of yourself that once felt too heavy to carry alone. He becomes someone who gently pushes you toward your potential. He reminds you of your strengths when you forget them. He helps you see the beauty in your resilience. He listens to your pain without trying to fix you or rush your healing. He understands that growth takes time, and he gives you the room to walk your journey without judgment. He doesn't want to hold you back. He wants to see you rise. He wants to see you build, rebuild, and rediscover parts of yourself you thought were lost. When you feel insecure or lost, he steadies you, not by controlling you, but by supporting you with patience and presence. He believes in your dreams, even the ones you're scared to speak out loud. He encourages your self-care. He celebrates your progress without jealousy. He respects your healing process. And most importantly, he doesn't try to shape you into what he wants. He allows you to grow into who you truly are. Men don't support healing like this unless their feelings run deep. A man who loves your soul wants you to evolve emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, because he sees your growth as something sacred, not something threatening. This level of support is love in its purest form. It's not possessive, it's not insecure, it's nurturing. And it's one of the clearest signs he's falling for your soul, not just your appearance. 10. He loves your authentic self. When a man is falling for your soul, one of the most beautiful signs is that he loves you exactly as you are, without filters, without performance, without pretending. He doesn't fall for the version you show the world. He falls for the version you show when you're tired, emotional, messy, or unguarded. Your authenticity becomes what he cherishes the most because he's drawn to the realness in you, not the perfection. He doesn't expect you to act a certain way, talk a certain way, or fit into an idea of what a woman should be. He loves your quirks, your natural habits, your unpolished moments. He finds beauty in your honesty, your rawness, and your true personality. He values the real conversations over rehearsed lines, the genuine laughter over polite smiles, and the vulnerable truths over shallow comfort. Being authentic around him feels effortless because he creates a space where you don't have to perform or hide. You don't fear being judged. You don't feel pressure to impress. You feel free. Free to be soft, free to be emotional, free to be strong, free to be imperfect. And he admires this freedom in you because it reflects a soul that is brave enough to stay real in a world that demands masks. He doesn't try to change you. He doesn't try to mold you. He doesn't try to fix you. He simply admires you for the woman you truly are. And that's Ray. People often fall for the surface, for the highlight reel. But a man who falls for your authentic self is seeing the kind of beauty that time cannot fade. He loves your truth, not your costume. That's when you know he's falling for the soul behind your smile, not the appearance the world sees. 11. He's drawn to your energy before anything else. Attraction often begins with looks, but soul-level connection begins with energy. When a man is falling for your soul, the first thing that pulls him in isn't your appearance. It's your vibe, your aura, your emotional frequency. He feels something unexplainable around you, something magnetic, something peaceful, something warm. Your energy becomes a feeling he wants to return to again and again. He notices the way you carry yourself, the softness in your tone, the light in your presence, the calm you bring into a room. He notices how your energy feels different from others, more genuine, more nurturing, more grounded, more soulful. Even in silence, he feels connected to you. Sometimes he can't even explain why he's drawn to you. He just knows that being near you feels right. He feels uplifted, inspired, soothed. He feels like he can breathe deeper around you. Your energy becomes his comfort, his clarity, his emotional anchor. When you're happy, he feels brighter. When you're sad, he feels concerned before you speak. When you're quiet, he wants to understand your silence. He's affected by you, not in a draining way, but in a soulful, meaningful way that only deep emotional attraction can create. This type of pull is not about biology or physical desire. It's spiritual resonance. It's emotional chemistry. It's the kind of connection that makes him say, "There's something about her." And he means it, because he feels your presence long before he thinks about anything physical. When a man is drawn to your energy first, it's a sign that is falling for the essence of who you are, not the outer shell. Energy doesn't fade with time. It only grows richer, and is falling for the part of you that only becomes deeper. 12. He feels safe sharing his vulnerabilities. Men are not taught to be vulnerable. Most grow up believing they must be strong, silent, and unbreakable. But when a man is falling for your soul, he feels safe enough to let those walls come down. He begins sharing parts of himself he usually hides from the world. Fears, insecurities, childhood wounds, past heartbreaks, regrets, and dreams he's afraid to admit. This doesn't happen because he's weak. It happens because you feel safe. Your presence, your compassion, your emotional intelligence make it easy for him to open his heart. Vulnerability becomes natural with you. He doesn't fear being judged or misunderstood. He knows you'll hold his truths with gentleness. He tells you things he doesn't tell his friends. He talks about emotions he usually buries. He lets you see the human behind the armor. And he feels relief, not fear, when he shares with you. He trusts you not just with his words, but with his emotional world. He notices how carefully you listen, how softly you respond, how sincerely you understand. And this builds a bond deeper than attraction. It becomes emotional intimacy, the kind of closeness men only feel when their soul is involved. He doesn't hide behind bravado or pretend to be stronger than he is. He lets you see the cracks, the softness, the uncertainty. And he knows you won't use those vulnerabilities against him. This is one of the purest signs of soul-level love. A man only shares his deepest truth with a woman his heart has chosen. Vulnerability is trust, and trust is love in its quietest form. 13. He appreciates the small things you do. When a man is falling for your soul, he doesn't just notice the big gestures, he notices the smallest, quietest things you do without even realizing it. Your thoughtfulness, your habits, your kindness, your efforts, your little ways of showing care, they all touch him more deeply than you might think. What others overlook, he treasures. He appreciates the way you check on him without being asked. He appreciates the way you remember the small details about his life. He appreciates your patience, your encouragement, your presence. He even appreciates the tiny gestures, like the way you smile when you're shy or the way you organize things without mentioning it. To him, these little acts are not little. They are signs of your heart, your character, and your deeper nature. He sees the intention behind everything you do, and it means more to him than grand romantic gestures ever could. This kind of appreciation shows that he values not just the surface, but your essence. He sees how much love and care you put into the world, even when no one acknowledges it. And instead of taking it for granted, he feels grateful. He feels lucky. He feels seen by you, and he wants to make sure you feel seen too. Men fall for women in silent moments like these. Not when you're perfect, but when you're real. Not when you're trying, but when you're simply being yourself. The little things you do reflect the depth of your soul, and that's what he's falling for. To him, the small things add up to something big. They show him that your love is sincere, your spirit is gentle, and your heart is pure. And that's why he cherishes every small thing you do, because each one brings him closer to the soul he's falling for. 14. He sees a future built on connection. When a man falls for your soul, he stops seeing you as a temporary moment in his life and starts seeing you as part of his long-term vision. Not because of fantasy or pressure, but because the connection he feels with you is unlike anything he has experienced before. It feels meaningful, stable, grounding, and emotionally aligned. It feels like something worth growing and protecting. He imagines a future not built on looks or desire, but on understanding, partnership, and emotional compatibility. He wants a bond where both people uplift each other, support each other, and evolve together. And when he looks at you, he sees that possibility clearly. He sees a life where the connection between your souls becomes the foundation for everything else. This doesn't mean he rushes or forces the future. In fact, men who feel deeply take their time. But he starts including you in his decisions. He considers your feelings when planning ahead. He talks about next year, later, and someday with you in mind. And he does this effortlessly, not as a strategy, but as a natural instinct. He doesn't picture a future filled with perfection. He pictures a future where both of you stay connected, honest, and emotionally safe. A future where challenges don't break the relationship because the connection is strong enough to withstand them. He doesn't want temporary highs. He wants lasting peace. He doesn't want superficial romance. He wants soulful partnership. He doesn't want someone who fits a picture. He wants someone who fits his heart. When a man sees a future built on connection, it means he's not falling for your beauty. He's falling for the bond you share, the emotional safety you create, and the way your soul speaks to his. 15. He chooses you even on hard days. Love isn't proven on easy days. It's proven on the days when life feels heavy, confusing, stressful, or overwhelming. And when a man is falling for your soul, he chooses you even then, especially then. He doesn't pull away when things get difficult. He doesn't become distant when he's tired. He doesn't make you feel like a burden when he's struggling. Instead, he stays emotionally connected. He shows up with honesty. He communicates instead of shutting down. He chooses partnership over pride. Even when he's not at his best, he still chooses you. Not perfectly, not dramatically, but consistently. Because his love isn't based on convenience, it's based on depth. He doesn't disappear when the day goes wrong. He doesn't snap at you because he's stressed. He doesn't punish you with silence. He chooses patience, kindness, and communication. He chooses to protect the bond rather than his ego. And that is a rare kind of love. He also supports you on your hard days. When you're overwhelmed, he stays steady. When you're emotional, he stays gentle. When you're quiet, he stays close. He doesn't make your struggles about him. He doesn't retreat when you need comfort. He doesn't walk away when things get complicated. This is what real connection looks like. Not perfect behavior, but consistent choice. Not grand gestures, but stability. Not fairytale romance, but emotional loyalty. Choosing someone even on hard days is one of the strongest signs of soul-level love. It shows that he's not just attracted to your good moments. He loves your heart, your humanity, your imperfections, and the bond you share. When a man keeps choosing you in the moments most men would pull away, that's when you know his soul is falling for yours.